All right. And welcome to the Mama's Den.
Welcome back, y'all.
Hey, Cody here.
Melanie.
And your girl, Fee.
Ashley, we miss you.
Yes, Ashley is out working and we miss her.
We do miss her.
Come on back so we can just move into your house together. Mm-hmm. But we have some special guests today. Jamilah Mapp and Erica Dickerson. Our besties, single mamas, the creators of Good Moms, Bad Choices podcast, and now we can call them published authors.
Woo! Hey, y'all.
Okay, so in their new book, Good Mom's Guide to Making Bad Choices, they bring all the things we love about the podcast to the stories of their own journeys as mothers, offering women and mamas insight on the tools that they can use to recognize their own past trauma, find way to healing, and break free from unrealistic expectations of what it means to be a good parent. So let's all welcome the ladies to the Mama's Den.
Yee. Hi, ladies. Fee, don't break the mic. I would just like to acknowledge that it is water sign strong in here today.
Absolutely. I couldn't wait to say that when this started.
Scorpio, Cancers, all up in the building.
We in here.
We might fight and cry.
Cody, are you a Cancer?
I'm a Scorpio.
She's Scorpio, girl.
Wow.
I was going to tell you that when we started recording.
There's a lot of water up in here.
A lot of water up in here.
What about
I'm
you
very
guys?
excited.
Scorpio.
Both of you?
Cancer.
Oh, this is why the dynamic
Nice.
duo. Me and Bear, Scorpio,
Okay.
Cancer. So we know what that is. I'm very excited to have you guys here today.
Yay.
So excited. And
Excited to be here.
I was telling Erica the other day we did a speaking engagement together. And I don't know, Mila, I don't know if you remember this. We were sitting at the table. So I've been on the podcast 2 times. We were sitting at the table at Erica's house when that was your in-home studio. And it was off air. We were having a conversation and, there was a conversation around acceptance for what you guys are talking about, because you guys are good moms and you are owning these quote unquote bad choices. And I remember Erica specifically being that your mom was having an issue with you having this podcast. And I just remember looking at you guys and I was like, you guys have something so special. This is going to be so dope. Keep going. And that was the very first episode that we recorded. And then so to fast forward years later, when I did the second episode and we were at the Beauty Blender headquarters where the studio upgraded. And the first thing Erica says was bitch, we got a big deal. I'm like, yes. And so I'm shaking because I'm it's so beautiful to see what you guys have created and how you do it unapologetically. And I feel like being your guys' friends, but then also seeing the community from a different side, it's so fucking liberating, to be in a space of other moms that like to have fun that don't fit the mom standard. A lot of people have this idea that as soon as you become a mom, you you got to shapen up and you got to stand up straight and you can't fuck up. But it's no, I actually think that we need to let loose a little bit more. So with all of that being said, I'm just so thankful for you guys and the way that you guys show up in the motherhood space. You guys are that girl. Z with the S.
Thank you,
yeah.
Fee.
You're so welcome.
Wait, so how long have you been recording?
5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, we started the podcast in 2018. And we haven't taken a break ever since. We have every single week, every Wednesday, we be dropping the episodes. And so it has been our therapy, really. And our audience has really gotten to know us over the podcast because me and Mila weren't really friends when we started the show.
Yeah.
So,
Tell me more about that. How did y'all meet?
Which is amazing because the dynamic is
Yes.
you guys been best friends for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we have now, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that's why I think our audience really they fuck with us because they're we've literally seen the friendship grow.
Yeah.
Well, how did we meet?
Well, dear. Once upon a time.
At a club in Hollywood. Look, I read the notes.
I was like, that's
We read chapter 1, okay?
Well, even before that, I was pregnant, and I was the first of my friends to get pregnant. I had not one friend with a child, so I was the
How
guinea
old were
pig.
you?
27.
Okay. I'm
20. I was 26 when I got pregnant. I had my daughter at 27, and I had some like previous to having Irie, like I would go out with my girls, we plan trips, I smoke weed, I would party, living my free life, no responsibilities, trying to be an actress, trying to figure it out. When I got pregnant, I was like, oh my God, I got to figure it out. And oh my God, I can't do some of these things anymore, right? Like this is not acceptable. And so I remember I was around like 7 months pregnant and I was on Instagram and my friend had posted a picture of Jamilah and she was at the Roosevelt Hotel at a pool party with her newborn baby on her hip.
Sounds like Jamilah.
We actually have a picture of this with a glass of, I think like champagne in like a tiny little big bathing suit, abs popping. And I was like, I had gained 70 pounds in my pregnancy. I was like kind of miserable at this point. Me and my partner, it was shaky. And I was like, who the fuck is this bitch? I was like, I was hating.
Right,
I was like,
right.
I was hating.
She's at the Roosevelt with her baby. And then I was also like,
with her abs.
Yeah,
with her
how dare
abs.
her?
Like you can't even, I just don't even have an ab. Everyone thought I was having twins. But I also was like, who is this mommy friend that my friend knows?
Yeah.
Like, where has she been hiding this person?
Yeah.
So then like a few months later, I had my daughter and my friend posted her again. And at this point I was desperate. I was like, where is this mom friend of mine? Because I had none. And she was like, oh, that's Jamilah. Actually, we're going out tonight. You should come meet up with us.
The
I think
baby's coming.
my daughter was like, I think 3 months at the time. And so this was like my first outing. I dropped my daughter off at my mom's. My mom was very much like, where are you going? I pumped in the car in front of the club/bar and went in and I was like, I got 2 hours like before my mom starts tripping. So I went in like with a mission, which was, I always say like, this was so unlike me. And that's how I know like this was divine because I'm not the type of bitch that it's going to go
Make a friend.
Go to a bar to go
Seek
meet
out
a
the
girl I
friendship.
found on Instagram to make her my friend.
Make her my
Make her
friend.
my friend. We gonna be friends.
Funny enough, I am, but that's a story for another day.
Convincing and making people do shit. Yes, that's my vibe. So I went and I looked around and couldn't find her. I went to the bathroom and there she was. I think she was like in the mirror touching her makeup up. And I was just like, hey, hi.
Sounds like an episode, okay,
It's like
show
a sitcom.
loading. Show loading. This is great.
I was like, so are you Jamilah, right? And she was like, yeah. And thankfully Jamilah's like super friendly. And I was like, hey, I think we have mutual friends. I heard you have a baby. And she was like, I do. And I was like, we should get the girls together this week. And she was like, okay, take my number. So, she took my number and, Mila had a similar situation. She had also seen me on Instagram and made a lot of assumptions about my life. I had gotten proposed to at my baby shower. I got a big ass ring, even though we were living in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath in Van Nuys. And we weren't living this big lifestyle, but my baby daddy is a rapper. So, he has to, perpetuate the image.
Come through.
Flouse.
So for her, she saw me and was like, oh, she's rich and she's marrying an African prince.
That was the assumption.
Because we were all wearing white at my baby shower. He did kind of look like a prince at that point.
She was wearing like some kind of headpiece, and we were both young. I was 26, and when I saw that, I was just like, I'm doing it wrong. I'm not engaged. I'm broke. And she's engaged and she's rich.
To a prince.
What the fuck am I doing? And I was jealous. And then we did have a mutual friend. So I asked my other friends about her, like, who's this? And my other friend was like, she's beautiful. She's an actress. And I was like, so she's a beautiful actress.
I wish y'all could see. Hopefully you will. She said the way she said actress.
She did. And she's getting engaged with a fat ring and I'm not. So I was like, yeah, perfect. My life is definitely living out the way I thought, aka not. And so when she approached me in the bathroom that day, I was actually at the club with my baby daddy and I was miserable. I distinctly remember this night and I remember him talking and I was like, I wish he would shut the fuck up. He was talking to other people, but it was something I don't know. It was about Black people, but he was saying stuff that was so ignorant and I was so embarrassed. And I just remember just sinking into myself. And I was already kind of feeling lost and not feeling myself. I had just had a baby at the club trying to still keep up. And so when Erica approached me in the bathroom, I was like, there's that famous actress.
With the Prince fiance.
With the Prince fiance. And I remember leaving the club that day that girl Erica wants to hang out with me. Telling my baby daddy. And I think it was a Saturday and on Monday we got together and we were sharing one fucked up car and he left me and I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm taking an Uber. I Ubered with my newborn, no car seat. I just got in the back seat. I was like, it's okay. We're not going that far.
Right. Keep quiet driving.
Keep driving. I was like, if we were in New York, you would be fine. So
It's true.
They dropped my ass off, and like me and Erica, we did not know each other. And it was so awkward. And like, how's motherhood? And she's like, great. And I'm like, same. I'm so happy. She's like, me too. We were miserable. And, we called it a play date, but like the kids were like 8 months old. They could barely hold their heads up. So it's just like, you guys play. And they're like,
Just lay on the floor.
it was like, they couldn't talk. They didn't know what the fuck was going on. It was an adult play date.
Yeah.
Because we desperately needed someone who could relate to what we were going through, even though we weren't even honest, to be honest about what we were going through. But, like that was like the very beginning. And I think I was breastfeeding in the pool because I breastfed for like 100 years because that's what I did.
She was. And I was looking at her again like, this bitch. Like, at that point, my milk had already dried up. I'd already given up on breastfeeding and felt ashamed that I had.
Right.
And here she was just like, bloop. And I was like, so everything's great, huh?
So your milk just pumps like that? Just comes out like that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, let me go heat up the formula in the microwave. Be right back.
And you know what? We didn't, it was a weird play date and we didn't really hang out. I think we hung out like one other time. And I remember feeling like nervous, like I don't know this person. And we didn't hang out for a long time. And we didn't see each other. We didn't keep up because it's really awkward and difficult to keep up with adult friendships. You feel like you're a nuisance to someone else. It's not like high school where you're like, you see each other every day and like, bitch, you are going to be my friend. So I think somewhere in that period, I found out I was already going through my own shit. My baby daddy is my high school sweetheart. So I've known him for a million years, but it just, you grow. And I was 26. And so I was starting to make the process of acknowledging like this wasn't going to work. And it was a hard process. But meanwhile, through the grapevine, I had heard that Erica had this epic breakup. And not because she told me, because my other friends had told me. And I was like, oh, really? And I wasn't like happy, but I was kind of happy because I was like, my one mom friend is also now a single mom. So now we really have some shit to talk about. I was already really experiencing like the shame of about to be a single Black mom, And I was like, I was just thinking of like Halle Berry and Losing Isaiah. Because like that's every movie you say and they're like, you know that movie.
Yes, we know.
Yeah, absolutely.
We know that movie.
It scarred me for life because I was like, I'm not going to be this bitch.
But like self-imposed shame, or you felt other people?
It was self-imposed, but I think it was self-imposed because there is a stereotype that if you're a single Black woman, then somehow you failed and it's your fault and that you're going to struggle. And so, I very much was feeling the shadows of that, like being my existence, and that, I wasn't going to be able to find another relationship or like live happily ever after, like I had imagined. So when I heard that, I was like about to have a birthday party for Luna, and I was like, invite that bitch so I can get the tea, and also we can rekindle our love.
And so she's right. I did have an epic breakup, which I talk about in the book. And I went to her birthday party. And during that epic breakup time, at some point, I started dating. So my friends told me to get on Tinder. And I had been in my relationship for 7 years. So Tinder seemed like a foreign place to me. I was like, people are exposing themselves on apps and they're like, we're dating on apps? Like, oh, I don't know. But my friend was like, you need to get on there. And I was like, all right. So I went on and, I started having some fun. I started meeting people. I started getting the validation that I never really was getting in my relationship. And it was like a really great jump off point for me. That's exactly what I really needed at that time. I also started exploring my sexuality. And so I happened to swipe upon a married couple. And I was like, I didn't even mean to, but it just kind of happened this way. And I was like, and they were beautiful and they lived a few blocks from me and they had a son. And I was like, okay, let's see what this does. Let's see what it do here. And so I was having these experiences with them that were really exciting, but there was also kind of this shame around it because I was literally like having threesome and then going home and tucking my daughter in at night. And I was like, wow, that was so much fun. But also this is so crazy. Like I don't have anyone to tell this to. Yeah. My friends who don't have kids are totally going to judge me. Definitely not going to tell my parents like, hey mom, guess what? But I knew, I was like, okay, well, Jamilah invited me to her birthday. I was like, oh my God, finally my littest mommy friend, my only mommy friend.
Roosevelt
and my littest mommy
friend.
She's going to talk like this.
Yeah. I was like, I'm going to tell her. I can't wait to tell her about what's happening. And also during that time, I started listening to podcasts, mostly murder mystery shows. But then I started to explore like single motherhood podcasts, and there were literally none. Definitely no Black ones, because I think there was like a shame around even acknowledging it and talking about it. And so I was like, that's interesting. I was like, I wonder if maybe Jamilah would want to start one with me. And I was like, again, don't know where this thought came from. Never thought I'd be a podcaster. This wasn't thinking of starting a business. But I just happened, I went to her birthday party. I told her about, my married couple. And she was like, oh, okay. And I think that really gave her permission to like show up as herself too and be like, oh, you do you do some crazy shit on the weekend too?
I immediately liked her more. I was like, oh, this bitch is a little spicy.
And I think that's too what we talk about is that like, I think we say host shit brings the host together. But let's just like honesty brings like when you just have 100%. Just baseline honesty with someone, it allows someone else to be honest with you. Yeah. And then at that party, I also asked her to start a podcast. And she of course, Jamilah, the friendliest bitch in the room, said, oh, what's a podcast? Like a radio show? I said, sure. Yep.
And I said, are you going to tell the story about your couple? And she said, yeah, I guess I can't get fired. And I said, perfect. Then I can do it because I only know how to be honest. And side note, I don't know if you know this, Felicia, she initially was going to ask you. Because you had your cool ass mom thing. And luckily she didn't.
Luckily, you're correct.
Luckily.
And here we are.
Yet here we all are on a podcast.
But yeah, when she told me that, I was like, oh, I kind of like this bitch more than I thought, And like not only we were kind of going through parallels, but different things. And we had kids, the only people with kids. But I immediately felt closer to her and I immediately felt safe. Yeah. And that I could, explore and talk to her. And like, honestly, I said yes. And then like the following week, like, okay, well, we need to think of a name and we need to have a photo shoot because bitches love photo shoots. And I was like, it should be old-timey. It should be old-timey because it'll be like a contrast between like traditional but not traditional. And then we did it. And then we literally like never talked before deeply. And then we're like, let's just do a practice run. And the practice run is our first episode. And it's like, we really don't know each other. We have like a little, we did a trial in the car. And I was like, I'm Mila. And she's like, I thought your name was Jamilah. And I was like, it's the same thing, bitch. And she's like, oh, like we really did not know each other. Yeah. And we kind of started to get to know each other on the mic. And I don't know, something really powerful happened. I think because we thought nobody was listening, that we were just like, blah, 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 blah. And then I had a threesome, and then I did this, and da, da, da. And then, I think like 3 months in, I was like, let's check these numbers. And there was like, I called her and I was like, it says 10,000 people have listened. And she was like, there's no way. I was like, I swear to God. I was like, I don't know 10,000 people. And she's like, me either. I was like, whoa. And I think, we got DMs and people like, oh my God, you smoke weed? Me too. Oh my God, I felt like I was the only mom. I thought, and it really, it helped us be more confident and it helped us like just say, fuck it and be honest and continue on 5 years straight.
I feel like that's the part I love the most. I remember when I shared that I was going to be, I always say co-parenting mama. You guys know how I feel about this. And because the kid's father is like very active. And I remember, I don't know if I was in front of both of you guys, but both of you guys were like, bitch, it's so liberating. I'm like, are you sure? Yeah, because I was leaning into this, like how you're saying society just has this idea of like, you're a single mom, you failed, you're Black, you know what I mean? Like this whole thing. And I did carry that for a long time, but the more and more that I kept looking at you guys, I was like, no, bitch, you got this.
Then you get to drop that kid off and you get to go have a weekend by yourself.
Felicia, what was liberating for you? Like the language co-parenting versus just saying single mom?
So seeing them thrive and being single moms, being single moms in the spaces that they're in as creatives, just and being so vulnerable and honest and being in relationships and situations post having the father of their children. I feel like that was the part that I felt seen because it's not really like, not saying that it's not normal, but there's such this like negative ass stigma around it, And so now when I'm around my married friends, they're like, how do you do it? I'm like, bitch, I'm a co-parent. Like,
I remember that conversation. I think I even told you, I said, you just have a schedule and then you actually have time to yourself. Yeah. No offense to the married people, but y'all don't like your husband live in the house. So there's no escape.
No, to be clear, we're not offended. We actually had this conversation, a month ago? We were talking about like some of the pros of not having to have somebody in your face making decisions at the same, you still have to collaborate on certain things and like make decisions together, right? As co-parenting parents. But like, there's times where I just want to do me and I don't want him to tell me to do it his way or whatever. So there's pros. I respect them.
No, and let's be clear. Like I want to be a single mom forever? No. Do I want to be married? Absolutely. Like all I know is that I had to look at the bright side. What is the bright side in this situation?
Yeah.
And that was the bright side for me. It was like, I now have this unexpected opportunity to really tap into myself away from my child, knowing that she's in the care of the other person that made her.
Absolutely. Literally. That's why I said, I'm like, if I was to have a third child, we are co-parenting under the same roof. I'm like, I've learned so much in co-parenting, that it has to be it has to be 50-50. Has to be. I can't do it any other way.
I'm like damn there, like, listen, we're going to sign a contract. Like I'm like, you want a baby? Like we're gonna.
Isn't that marriage?
Yeah, it is, but I'm talking about like a parenting contract.
I can
I'm talking about like if
I will contribute 26 hours this week,
right,
you will.
Right. I'm going to be very clear. Right. Like, listen, I've done this, so this is my expectation. And
absolutely.
This is what I can give, and this is where I'm going to sign, and you'll sign right beneath me with a date. And if we don't, I'm going to bring this up in court.
This is not a bad idea.
Because I told you I can only do so much.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially when you have the freedom of like, okay, you're with the other parent. I'm like, wait, we're doing it wrong. Everybody's doing it wrong. But
my boyfriend wants a baby. I was like, you do realize if we have a baby, we can't drop this one off. Like, you do realize that, right?
It's between the two of us.
I know you like parenting, but you're only doing it. It's only 50% right now. Right. And it's like, this is the reality of marriage.
No, for real. No, because Tommy knows this, but like I'm happiest when I have my time and I know that the kids are with him.
Yes.
And we have a nanny who I love, but like if they're with him, I'm good. I don't have to think about anything. And so he's like, nah, let's go do. I'm like, no. I need my time. And I need you to be at home. Yeah. Thanks.
So
I'm not stressed that I'm running an hour late. Oh, that's your kid. I'll be 2 hours late actually.
Right.
Also, the rate don't keep going up. It's
Right.
It's going to cost me an extra $30 every hour.
This drink ain't that important. Unfortunately, I do. I feel like, and I realize this just living my child's father is just like, even if you're living with each other and you have the understanding that we both went half on this baby, society and the other person a lot of times puts most of it on your plate because it's at the end of the day, it's like, well, you're the mom.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's literally, you know how many times I've heard this nigga say this? You're the mom. I'm like, I don't give a
you're
fuck.
the dad.
Yeah. Maybe we should switch the names so you can be more clear. Like, but I started to resent that, and I realized like I'm showering the baby, I'm feeding the baby literally from my tit.
Yes.
I'm doing all these things and you're right here, and that level of resentment that grows in you, and I think that really adds to like postpartum and all these things, because as women and as moms, especially new moms, the walls start fucking closing in on you, and you're like, wait, hold the fuck up. This is not what I signed up for. And like all the happy life and the belly and all that like cute shit goes right out the window when you're like waking up in the middle of the night and you're smelling and like you haven't showered, you haven't eaten, and like niggas are like, you want to have sex? Like, hell no.
Back up.
And how dare you have an attitude about me not wanting to?
Back up.
Especially after I just gave birth, I'm allergic to dick.
Okay. It's so scary.
Like, no.
I'm allergic. And I'm just going to chime in. So anybody here who has not tuned in to the Good Moms Bad Choices podcast, go on and get that book because it's coming out. The thing that I love, to Felicia's point too, is that you guys speak so freely and candidly because it's your truth. And I think that that's what's important. This is not contrived. This is like how I think a lot of moms, and I think the stigma in motherhood is like, can I say that out loud? I feel that even if it's down to like, yo, I fucking need a break from my kids today. Like, why are we not allowed to say that? Doesn't mean we don't love them. Doesn't mean we regret having them. It's all these conversations. And I think the beautiful thing that I want to acknowledge and shout out is that you guys have cultivated a community online and in the real world that show up, and this is not just, hey, we're fun moms who like to party. You guys are very rooted in spiritual practice. You guys are very rooted in your divine feminine. You're very rooted in ancestry and community and intention, because everything that you've created has come from that. Like even Erica, what you just said, I don't know why this idea came to my head. I just like, boop.
Yeah.
And it is divine. And the fact that you're like, I don't seek out people. And she just happened to be friendly. And she was like, well, you better keep it real or I'm not coming on the podcast. Like so many factors had to come together from a divine intervention standpoint, I think, to make what you guys do. And something that I think is really important, worth mentioning, is you guys have created a retreat. And how many years have you guys been doing it?
One.
Is it just one?
Yeah.
Shit. But you guys have done like 4 installations or something like that? 6.
Yeah,
Which is working,
We've
okay?
done 6 retreats. We brought over 100, I think like over 120 women out of the country at this point.
Wait, are you saying 6 in a year?
Yeah.
Okay. Like every other month? Is that what's happening?
No, we do them back to back. So
Okay.
if we go out once, we'll do 2 retreats back to back. We started them in Costa Rica, and it's been, again, that also was very divine as well. We didn't actually go to Costa Rica to start a retreat at all. We actually went to go write the book because we could not focus here. The kids, with the podcast, with everything. I was like, we need to go away.
It was actually us like the book was our excuse to leave for an extended time because at that time we thought we needed an excuse to be able to get away from our kids for that long. So we were like, we're going to work. And really we just went to go like chill. I mean, we thought we were going to work, but I think in that experience we discovered that, oh shit. I think like 1 week went by and I was like, I finally feel relaxed. I was like, now I feel relaxed.
Yeah.
It took like 5 to 7 days.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the vacation started. And it dawned on me, it dawned on both of us. It was like, damn, like I told Erica, I was like, I think every mom after they give birth after 1 year, they should go away for at least 2 weeks.
Yes.
I was like, it should be mandatory that after you give birth, as soon as you should go away by yourself for an extended time. I was like, that's the only way. And because we had started to discuss that, we started to really like, damn, moms really needed this. Damn, I really needed this. And I think like just like speaking that shit out loud started to kind of like plant these seeds that we could bring other women to do the same thing.
I want to ask you something because I'm sure there's people out there that are probably thinking this, is how much does mom guilt come into your lifestyles and think, because people out here talk about mom guilt like it's a real thing. And is there a point where you're like, oh, this is selfish or this is too much or I've been away too long?
Mom guilt never ends. I think I don't believe there's a cure. I think that it comes up. I think there's times where you are like, you don't feel guilty. And then there's times where it's like, you do. And then there's also times where I've had to acknowledge like, hey, sit your ass down. You don't need to go.
Yeah.
That's big, yeah.
Or like you've been doing too much, and that's also, and listening to my child tell me that too is also, that's sobering, when your child is like, hey, I need you, and so I've had to, and then also kids are also very manipulative too. So then there's also, when they know that affected you and then you listen, then they'll use that against you every single time. So it's the balance of like figuring out like, girl, we just did like 4 days of activities.
Children are manipulative.
I'm leaving, go with your other parent. But I think that the mom guilt thing, I literally deal with it every day, especially as a businesswoman, especially from like just other people, other women, other moms, grandparents. I don't think it ever is something that kind of ever leaves. And then eventually it becomes your kid, again, like as your kids start to guilt you. And then as they get older, still guilting you. I was having a conversation with my mom the other day. And she was like, you just had such a terrible childhood, didn't you? And I was like, I never said that. And she was like, yes, you did. And I was like, when? And I'm like, at some point, I've guilted you for you to feel this way. So I have bestowed mom guilt onto you where you feel like I have guilted you. And now you carry this feeling that like I didn't have a good childhood, which is the farthest thing from the truth. There were things, of course, but I think even as parents, we take our parenting so personal. So like if your kid was hurt at any point during their childhood, you feel like you've done a bad job, and it kind of blankets over all the other amazing things that you've done as a mom. And that's what I had to tell my mom. I was like, listen, like my dad wasn't around. That really affected me deeply. It hurt me. That was not your fault. You chose him, but that was not your fault ultimately. And that wasn't that I didn't have a bad childhood because of that, but the things that have come up in my adulthood, the way I choose men, the way I show up in a lot of ways was affected by him. But I think that like, it's something that I don't know. I know that there's like courses and all types of things on like combating mom guilt. I don't subscribe to the fact that you can actually fully resolve.
I don't think I want to be numb to that.
I think mom guilt, obviously applies mostly for mothers.
I've heard a lot of men mention it recently.
I don't think it's on the same. They mention it.
I don't think it's on this, maybe on the same level, because I think mothers and fathers play different roles. But I can honestly say that Jared, like my husband, he absolutely suffers from guilt in general in life, like professional guilt, husband guilt, parenting guilt, because he feels like he can't be everywhere at once. Yeah. And
he's human.
He's human, right? Yeah. But the thing about mom guilt is that it's like this, like you said, there's courses and shit on it.
but guilt, I think guilt comes from a lot of times people like projecting shame on you. Yeah. And I think, obviously for the most part, like people really look at moms as the primary caregiver, whether you're married or not. And so if you're away, like men have this role that like you're a provider and you're a protector. Mm-hmm. So you're doing the right thing.
You're supposed to be away.
You're supposed to be away, going to get, protecting the family, providing for the family. But I think one of the things that's really helped me with mom guilt is that, like you mentioned, like Erica and I this is a divine friendship. Like when we came together, like an entity was created, and through that entity, all of our manifestations have come to fruition rather quickly. And I feel like when you are living in your purpose, it makes it easier to combat mom guilt because I realize it's bigger than me. Yeah. And I hope and I know that Luna will recognize that and understand that when she looks back and it's like, my mom was doing something that was ultimately for us, but also for other women experiencing the same type of things that we're experiencing. And so that kind of helps me, just like push forward. And also there's this crazy belief that moms especially should not prioritize their happiness and that it has to be self-sacrificing. And if you're not sacrificing yourself, you're not doing a good job. And that's just not true. And, a lot of times the misconception is that if you're miserable, your kid is happy. But if you're miserable, your kid is also going to feel that.
But also there's a ton of invisible sacrifice. Like I was actually thinking just that this weekend. I don't remember what I was doing. I had an event on Sunday, but it may have been anything that I was doing this weekend. I remember thinking like that I would rather be with my children, but I have to do whatever it was, which was also something that was important to me. And it was like, man, I carry all of that in me. Right. And then I have to show up and kind of pretend that it's not there. Mm-hmm. And that's the sacrifice that people don't see, but that literally is in my body. And I have to find ways to like release it to be a happy, healthy person. But there's so much, I think, sacrifice that people don't see, even when you're living in your purpose.
Because we make it look easy.
Word.
I would like to point out that we always hear the term like working moms. Never hear the term working dad. No. Just want to put that out there.
Not at all. Okay, wait. So when does the book come out?
May 2nd.
May 2nd. Awesome. I have a question about you guys and how vulnerable and transparent you've been on the podcast. So when writing the book, was there anything that you hadn't yet shared that you were like, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there?
There's a lot.
Yeah.
We've shared a lot on the podcast, but there's a lot in this book that has not been shared. I think because we wrote it like we were journaling. I think we wrote it like I said in the beginning of our podcast, we were talking very freely because we didn't really think anyone was listening. And I think we kind of used the same thing in the book. We're just like, blah, 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 blah. And then now we're like, oh shit. Oh shit, everybody knows my business. And it feels different, like in audio, I'm like, good luck trying to find that episode, bitch. Right. Good luck. But here I'm like, damn, they're like,
it's written.
Page 195. I'm like, fuck.
It looks as though you said this.
I know, we've had a couple
There's going to be think pieces about it.
And they're pulling quotes. And they're like, okay, and Jamilah, you said, and I was like bracing myself, like, what the fuck did I say? But it's definitely deep. It's definitely in depth. It's definitely deeper than we've gone and been more honest on the podcast. Because it's personal.
I think for me, sometimes I don't know if anyone else feels this way in podcasting, but sometimes I feel like I can't always articulate exactly how I want to say something. Like some people, that is their gift. And in ways it's mine. I am a podcaster. Yes, she's amazing at it.
Melanie Fiona. Felony me.
But so I think the book really gave me an opportunity to really say exactly what I meant and what I feel, and really not protect certain people, because there has been a level of protection that I've given certain people in my life on the podcast, including my child's father. And in this book, I don't hold back. And I share the stories. And, he's probably not going to like it. Or maybe he'll just say, you know what? I'm gonna shut the fuck up this time and just like let you have your truth, because it is the truth and it's my truth. It may not be his, but there was so much release when I finally got to write these things down. And, when we did go to Costa Rica to write the book, the one thing we did actually do was I brought all my journals. I've been journaling since I was like 5 years old and I have them all. And so I just went back and read and I was like, who am I? Who was I as a child till now? What are the circumstances? What are the experiences? How did I actually feel? And not just like what my thoughts are now, like manipulating these experiences to be. And being able to do that and then really reflect and write the things on paper was cathartic. It was like a release for me. It was very emotional. And it really took us a long time to write the book because it was challenging. It was triggering, but I knew that it was important. I know that the work in the podcast is important. I knew that this book would be important because I know that some of these experiences women are going to read and be like, I can't relate. Right. But through me oversharing, and I realized that this is our gift in podcasting, is like the oversharing is where people become unashamed, even if their situations are not as provocative as ours, or maybe they're worse than ours, But I think that being able to write it down on paper actually, for me, was almost more cathartic than talking about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or maybe it was like the final, like, we're closing this chapter.
I said what I said.
Yeah. Like, if this chapter is done. Mm-hmm. And I have noticed how some of my relationships that I talk about in this book have transformed after finally completing the book for me. Like, I'm really done with this now.
Yeah.
I don't care.
It's good. It's like a healing moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like therapeutic.
So it's, the book is very entertaining and it's funny. You're going to cry. You're going to laugh. You're going to think we're crazy probably a little bit.
More than in the podcast? Like different kind of?
I think so. I mean, but ultimately.
Straight face, by the way, she said. I think
yeah. Ultimately, the book is really a testimony that you make the motherfucking rules.
Yeah. Right.
You make the rules. Nobody else makes the rules for how you mother, how you parent yourself, how you show up in your relationships. You make the rules because this life is short as hell. Mm-hmm. And we have limited amounts of time. Like, we cannot be on this earth faking and wearing masks and, propping ourselves up to appease family members, lovers, children. I don't care who it is. So I really hope that that's what this book does, is it really liberates people to show up as themselves.
Love this.
I love this.
Yeah,
right?
I love this so much.
Honestly,
I
feel like I'm listening to a podcast.
I know. It's really wild to just really sit here and hear you guys speak about what you've built and how it has evolved from just this idea of, we're just going to do something, to something it's so much intention, and it's still, and the way that you're speaking, and I mean, you're a podcaster, but the way you are articulating yourself is just incredible. And being friends who know these stories, I'm excited for even our listeners or anyone out there who has not had the opportunity to get to know you two in a different way. If this is the way you found them, like, this is really important. These conversations in motherhood, this dynamic, finding your tribe. And I think that that's what is why we're all here, and how we actually all connected. Was because we all came through different paths of motherhood. And here we are sitting at a table, literally talking about, oh my gosh, yes, I feel the same way. Oh my gosh, what do you think about that? And I think that that's where the healing comes from. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's the most important thing too, to really acknowledge for you guys. You guys have also been so vulnerable about, this is a healing process for us. All the shit that we do, we go through, we talk about, we're vulnerable. Oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have. Who knows, who cares, whatever it is. It's this journey for yourself. And I think that that's what more people need in this world, is to just, you can live your life, do what you got to do. But like, let's just make sure we're always learning, growing, healing, exploring, just being true to ourselves. Mm-hmm. It's a really, really important thing. And this work that you guys are doing, it's not just like entertainment value. It's real work.
Thank you.
It's real work. And I've seen you guys personally blossom from the work as well. And I get you guys up all the time. I'm like, you guys are killing it. I love you guys. I'm so proud of you guys. Cause I see it, like, from when Fee, I came to the house and we sat in the back and we were just chilling.
Oh, the dinner, huh?
No, when I did the podcast and then we did the dinner.
Oh yes.
And then I came on with Jared, and like, just all these conversations of how you guys have evolved. It's beautiful. And I hope that women whatever their ideas are, whatever you have, whatever that divine intention is within inside of you. Like, here are a group of women right here living in that purpose. And I just hope that someone feels inspired.
Thank you. I hope so too.
Vulnerability brings healing. That's like the thing I say all the time. Like, when we're vulnerable, we give other people permission to also be vulnerable. And I feel like that's what you guys do. I'm excited for you guys. This is going to be lit.
Well, I just want to say thank you to you ladies too. You know, you guys came out like Fee, we met through makeup, I think. Beauty blender?
so.
Yeah, and you didn't know me from a can of paint. I just.
How did we connect? I was trying to remember.
I think it was like she commented on. We did an episode with Shan.
Was it Shan? It was Shan. Yeah.
And I said, "Oh my God, Melanie Fiona commented on this."
This is her in. This is her in.
I said, "Oh my God, she's a mom. We need to message her. I wonder if she come on the show. Will she come to my home?"
I was like, we have one friend in common.
Because we were recording at my house, and which is also like, I was like, Mila, I don't know how much longer we're gonna have like strangers coming to my house to record the podcast.
I was like, it's fine. They're safe. I was like, no one's going to kill you. It's fine.
I was like, you get to go home and I'm left here.
I'm like, everybody we source seems really normal. No, but honestly, like it's women like you guys, you know, like even Fee, I didn't know you at all. I was a fan. When I was I think we were pregnant around the same time, and I watched you, and I think like, I don't know how, you know, it's LA, and I was like, oh, she's so cool. She is a cool ass mom.
I was telling them, I'm like, before Mindful Fee, it was cool ass mom.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not like you other bitches. I'm cool.
But I was like super attracted to that, and I love that, you know. And like, I never thought I was gonna be like a mom influencer, and I don't really like feel like I'm a mom influencer now, but I was inspired by you and you know, and by you, and we don't know each other that well, but I've seen Black Love docs. I'm like, this is beautiful. I love Black Love.
But I think it really is for those women that are listening, because I know that it can feel really overwhelming and challenging to make mom friends, right?
Yeah.
That's something that we get hit up about all the time. Where's my Erica to my Jamilah? I don't have a tribe in my city. I moved to a new city. How do I do that? And it's like, you know, I don't know where I did not have this superpower before I met Jamilah, but somewhere along the line in our friendship, I became very bold about reaching out to people and saying, hey, want to talk? Hey, want to come on? Want to come to my house? And I think that really is what it takes, really, to create the tribe. It doesn't just show up.
But you did it in the bathroom before that.
I did it.
Even if you weren't the bold person that you are now, you still did it.
I've been bold, but not when it came to like, I'm sad and I'm lonely. I need a friend, a new friend, you know, that understands, you know. Again, Source told me, go to that bar and go make a friend. Yeah. And ever since then, I've been making friends. Yeah. I've been choosing to not let my fear, my ego, any of those things get in the way of what I want. And if I want you to be my friend, you're going to be my friend, you know? And I think as women, until I find out you're a weird bitch, but I think as women, we judge each other so much. We look at another woman and we're like, yeah, no, she's not my type of girl. And then you're at home alone, lonely with no friends, complaining, or like, oh, I can't trust women. You know, like we hear that one a lot too. Like, I don't trust women. And it's like, girl, Susie who stole your boyfriend in college is not everybody, you know? And it's like, we have to like dispel these things, because when we come together, we are so incredibly powerful. And tribe has been the only way that I have been able to be a good mom, you know, and really, and a good mom to myself. Yeah. I need that support system. So for the women that are listening, like, be bold, don't be scared, get out of your way, you know? And, you know, me and Mila, we've created a community too, like outside of just the podcast, and our Discord community where people are meeting up in different cities and like connecting. Our retreats, like these retreats that we have, these women are friends, like true besties. Friends after the retreat. It's not like they went on this trip, they had this experience, like, bye girl. No, like it's really important that wherever we get to sprinkle our magic, that like it stays and it sticks. And I think it's really crucial for women to kind of break this idea that they don't need other women. It's so important. Yeah.
Erica's my wife. She's like my co-parent, you know, like our kids are in camp together. They're flying to us together. They're in soccer together. I'm like, did you sign up in all the things together? And I think sometimes, like, just off of what you said, is that I think women, we have been held to such a high standard of how we need to show up and how we need to perform and how we need to dress and how we need to talk, and you can't smoke in public. There's all these things that we're held to this high standard. We're constantly making sure we're showing up a certain way, we're presenting a certain way to be accepted, and inevitably, when you have to constantly like chase this mark, you're going to project that shit on other people. And it's like when you stop judging yourself and you give yourself room to just be like,
Girl.
then you might stop judging Susie from down the street because you're like, bitch, me too. Like, I don't give a fuck what you got on. Let's just go to the mall.
Or it's like, I don't give a fuck what you do. Like, don't kill nobody. Don't
Right? You're not murdering.
I'm like, girl, I don't care.
I don't care.
I'm tired.
Right?
I just want to do it.
Like, that's the thing. It's like, I think we have to look at ourselves and kind of realize that like a lot of the projection we put on other women is because we've been judged by a standard that we haven't really accepted, and we haven't been given a choice, and we've just accepted it because our moms told us, you know. It starts early. Like, you're not wearing earrings. Why are you not wearing earrings? Like, my mom used to tell me that. I'm like, who gives a fuck?
No, that's actually a real thing.
The earrings,
Damn.
right?
That is
Right. You're like, wait, what?
My mom used to make such a big deal if I forgot earrings. And I'm like, why is this a big deal? And to this day, I'm like, I can't leave without fucking earrings or else I'm going to look like a boy.
Like a boy. Yes.
And it's like, I didn't even ask if my ears pierced.
No girls do.
But it's like, a lot of the book is about like, we inherit these belief systems that we didn't even choose. And it's like, until you stop and pause and reflect, then you won't even recognize what your own choices are or what someone has given to you and put on you. And it's like, you have to give yourself a moment to dissect all of that. And in that dissection, like, you'll realize that the judgment that you're projecting on other people and other women and other moms is just the judgment that you've been given. And that as soon as you release that shit, it gives you space and room to love yourself, accept yourself, flaws and all, and accept all the other bitches that could possibly be your friends, but you're too busy like judging them.
Yeah. I clap when good moms make bad choices. I'm always
Yes,
girl.
yes.
It's great because I'm like, I feel like we need that relief. And that's like our little post, or what is it, pre or post?
Post.
Child.
After
Pre.
We're
tapping into our shit, both, all of it. We're tapping into like our pre-woman, like who we were before.
Our pre-motherhood selves.
Yes, that's what it is. But then also post. Yeah.
Well, but then like, why do I have to be a totally different bitch after I have a baby? Like, I'm still an adult. Like, I actually had sex to have this baby.
Oh, I'm way cooler now.
Yeah, like I'm smarter.
I'm way cooler.
You know, I'm smarter. But yeah, there's this like weird identity crisis that happens after you give birth because you think you're going to be like Betty Crocker or some shit. And it's like, no, bitch, I'm still a little bit of a wild bitch. Yeah. I just have hours in which I can be wild.
Right.
I'll be wild from 9 to midnight. I got to wake up at 7.
For school.
Well, we appreciate you all coming down and chatting with us. We're so excited about the book, and congratulations.
Thank you for having us. It's about time. We've been wanting to get over
It's
here.
about damn. Oh, can't sing.
Less
license.
A couple words.
It's about damn time.
Hey.
It's about damn time.
You can,
I don't know if you say it 3 times.
I think you can sing. I don't think you can play it. You can sing. We be singing.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
I think me and
I don't know
Melanie
what the rules
sing
are.
every single episode.
We sure do.
It's like if you talk over music, that's kind of also like that's fine.
It's a cheat code.
Honestly, don't listen to us because we don't really know.
I don't know that we do either. No,
The good moms made a bad choice and said,
And the mama's den is now getting sued.
Oh Lord.
no, rebuke,
We're not
cancel.
responsible for any songs we sing on this
Disclaimer.
on any podcast.
I also want to just say before I don't know if we're wrapping up, but before we get out of here, for the ladies that are interested in buying the book, we are doing a really amazing giveaway for the book right now until Mother's Day. We're giving away one all expense paid trip to our retreat in Mexico in July. So when you purchase the book, you automatically are entered into the retreat. If you go to our Instagram and enter your receipt, we're picking one lucky woman to come to Mexico in July. We're going to Sayulita, Mexico, July 5th and July 12th are the 2 dates. But if you don't want to leave it to luck, also when you buy the book, automatically, you also just get a bunch of free shit. We have a bunch of different meditations that we've created for you guys, digital assets.
They're more like pump ups.
And you get automatic, you get automatic access, forever access into our Discord community. So if you're looking for your Erica to your Jamilah, buying the book, we knew that when we sold the book, we wanted to gift people. Like it's the gift that keeps on giving, because our community has given so much to us in the last 5 years that it only felt right.
Cool.
Yeah. So we'll give you all that information.
Yay.
Thank you all. Yes, perfect. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, ladies, thank you so much for stopping by. Before you go, can you let everyone know where to find you? Give me all the socials.
You can find me at Milah, MILAH_Mapp. And
two P's.
2 P's. Mapp with 2 P's. So you can find me. And our Instagram is goodmoms_bad choices. We are Good Moms Bad Choices in all podcast platforms. You can follow our retreat at the Good Vibe Retreat. We also just opened a podcast studio. So if you're in the LA area and you're thinking about starting your own podcast and you don't know what the fuck to do, come to Good Media.
Good. You can find me at Watch Erica, and make sure you check out our Patreon. We have a lot of bonus content there. You get access to our Discord over there too, and that's patreon.com/goodmomsbadchoices. And that's it.
So Mama's Den Village, make sure you go support these ladies and pick up your copy of A Good Mom's Guide to Making Bad Choices on May 2nd. Yes. As always, you can connect with us on Instagram at the Mama's Den Podcast, or send us that email at podcasts with an S.
With an S. Every week. Podcasts
at blacklove.com. Bye.
Bye.